Crystia!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. If you watched yesterday's video about Stephen Guilbeault and foreign interference, well, it seems to be at the height of discussion when it comes to Canadians and political pundits talking about Canada's security, especially when it comes to foreign meddling in our elections and the security of Canadians' votes. Now, it's of no surprise that there are people in the background having their strings pulled by foreign entities or giving information to foreign entities. Again, I will reference Pierre with his large white pages phone book-sized report on the Winnipeg lab leak that took place, allowing Chinese delegates into Canada's virology labs that essentially gave access to our secrets, to our files. Huge misstep. Huge problem when it comes to Canada's security, essentially could have been leading to other lab issues that I'm not allowed to talk about on this channel. Foreign interference has been at the forefront of our concerns from day one. Now, foreign interference is something that's been happening for a long time. We all know it happens in every government. It's not just our government. Not to say that it's okay, but what we're starting to see now is that the compromising of multiple MPs and leaks coming out from Senate saying that there are compromised MPs within our House of Commons that are working alongside or selling and giving information to foreign entities such as China. Well, now Elizabeth May, who, again, has a history of being rather intoxicated in public settings, has come forward to discuss her loony and wacko take on things as she sat down in the House of Commons yesterday to talk about this redacted report. I want to play the first little bit and then chime in where I have an issue with this, because there are some discrepancies. Elizabeth May is not a credible source when it comes to being truthful and honest with people. Okay, she's a politician. She's also a wacko. But I'm going to play what she has to say, and then I'm going to give you my 2 cents. Let's take a listen. Keep in mind, this is a CBC report, and there's a reason I'm showing you this. They're trying to pad what is going on right now by making the blow seem harder than it actually is. Here we go.
Only a small number of MPs with top secret security clearance can read the original report, and Elizabeth May is one of them.
I found myself looking around at colleagues, wondering who could it be? Who would sell out this country?
So if you've looked at the title of this video, again, what I'm trying to stress here is, why is Elizabeth May one of the few MPs who has special clearance in order to read redacted reports? Now, she's going to go on to say that she found nothing in these reports, nothing that says there's zero or nothing that confirms, again, MPs' involvements or having red on their ledger when it comes to being involved with foreign entities. But why Elizabeth May? I don't know. What she's doing here, and based on the title of the video, what she's doing here is she's essentially admitting she's probably part of this compromised group. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. When you have nothing to hide, when, say, for example, I went into a retail store and someone accused me of stealing. If I had nothing to hide, even though I'm within my rights to say no to certain things, if the police said, do you mind if we search your bags? Do you mind if we check your receipt? Do you mind if we look inside your vehicle? Of course, just to clear my name, if I had nothing to hide, while it's an inconvenience, I would probably say no problem. I know some people are probably going to say, you don't have to give up your rights. It's not about that. What I'm saying is that if you're innocent of something, if you have nothing to hide, you have no reason to redact. You have no reason to say only certain people can look at these lists. Only certain people can have access to these lists. Now, again, the Green Party, Elizabeth May, she always stands in solidarity with the Liberals. She stands in solidarity with the NDP, stands in solidarity with basically everybody but the Conservatives. Now, it's not to say the Conservatives are squeaky clean in this, but I'm willing to wager the majority of our corruption and foreign interference comes from this left-leaning side of the spectrum. And what Elizabeth May is basically telling you is, hey, I'm on board with the rest of them. I'm going to protect whoever I can. Let's take a listen to what she says and then what else is brought up in this report.
Before she read it,
I would describe myself before reading the report as good and freaked out.
But she says she came away reassured.
I can say I have no worries about anyone in the House of Commons. There is no list of MPs who have shown disloyalty to Canada.
Speculation.
No list of MPs who have shown disloyalty to Canada, although the Senate has said that it's a list. The document is heavily redacted. We've all seen how much Justin Trudeau likes to redact government documents. So she's going to say, I can say beyond the shadow of a doubt, there is no list, there is no compromised MPs, even though I just read a black redacted document. Like, this is the hypocrisy. They want you to believe this. They think that we're stupid. Well, some people are. Let's continue.
Has run rampant since last week when a cross-party committee of MPs and senators released a heavily redacted report alleging some parliamentarians were wittingly or semi-wittingly helping foreign governments meddle in Canadian affairs. May says no sitting MP is accused of knowing collusion.
Saying, as I do, that I'm relieved does not mean that there is nothing to see here, folks.
She says the report does mention one unnamed former MP who did knowingly give privileged information to a foreign operative.
This individual was entirely aware of the circumstances and was witting.
So the MP I'm willing to bet that she's mentioning here, and again, I could be wrong, it could be Han Dong, who we saw step down after accusations of Chinese interference. Again, she's basically showed her cards here at the table. She's in. She's all in. She's willing to cover for these guys.
That person, former MP, whose name is not included in the report, should be fully investigated and prosecuted.
May says there is a small group of MPs who may have been compromised by foreign governments, for example, in party nomination races.
I want to make certain that there is none of my MPs which has any kind of implication with the foreign and hostile power.
Today, Bloc leader Yves-François Blanchet says he's getting clearance to read the report.
I feel this is my duty.
And the PM went after the leader of the opposition for not doing the same.
Elizabeth May took on her responsibilities as party leader, got her security clearance, and did the work. Mr. Poilievre should do that too. He is choosing ignorance so he can play partisan politics.
But Trudeau's number two asked twice if the Liberals would expel any caucus member who knowingly worked for a foreign power, refused to answer.
Evan, a lot of people might be wondering why they're only hearing these details now, to the extent that they're details, and why they're hearing it from the leader of the Green Party.
Well, the leader of the Green Party, Elizabeth May, was able to read this report because she has the very highest security clearance, and therefore she can. And Jagmeet Singh, who also has a high clearance, plans to read it himself tomorrow. But she also made it clear, Ian, that she read it with a view to communicating as much of it as she could to the public without breaking laws. And
so that's the important part there, because she's a party leader, she has the clearance. But, and I understand that this clearance only goes to leaders and those of high security job areas. But the problem here, and the problem that I'm seeing with this, is that what you have to understand is the legality of making such implications. Sorry. Lysdexia just has a way of kicking in, folks. When you make these implications, you could be charged with slander. If you're putting them in print, you could be charged with libel. MPs, senators, they don't bring forward these kind of documents unless they have unequivocal proof of their accusations. And to come forward and say that there are multiple MPs, both sitting and those who have left, that are involved in foreign meddling, foreign interference, the compromising of our elections, these are the things we have to get to the bottom to. Now, of course, you can see already why Elizabeth May, why Jagmeet Singh are doing this. And again, this has nothing to do with the partisan politics or compromising of MPs. This has to do with attacking Pierre Poilievre and setting it up that, hey, we all did our part, Pierre. We all stood up. We all read the documents. We did our parts as party leaders to ensure that all these black lines were telling the truth that we couldn't get the information from, but we're just going to wave and nod our heads and say, yep, everything's great. Everything's fine. There's nothing to see here, folks. It's maddening when you think about it. Now, of course, Pierre's not going to read it because Pierre doesn't want to play the game. He doesn't want to buy into the bullshit. And I don't blame him, frankly, because again, these kind of accusations don't come forward without proof. And the proof will come out. The truth will come out. The problem now is much like you see during the pandemic, much like you see anytime the Liberals want to skate when it comes to their scandals, their multiple scandals, their billion-dollar slush funds, I should say, anything of this corrupt government that continues to waver. Anytime you see a committee meeting and they just give the word salad blanketed statements when asked questions over and over and over again, simply because they don't want to implicate themselves. You hear about Crystia Freeland being asked, are you going to expel anybody who's been caught meddling? And of course, no word, because it's like I said in the other video with Stephen Gabot, it's like pleading the fifth. You don't want to say anything that's going to incriminate yourself. And again, all of these MPs are stepping into very deep legal territory. Now, talk about political immunity, talk about all these things, but the problem is that this is starting to explode. Again, mainstream media is covering it, which should give you the warning that this is huge, and they have no choice. They have to talk about it because it's out there. But we as the people, the reason I keep putting out these videos, call them clickbait, call them whatever you want, but the reason they're existing is to remind you that Elizabeth May is probably as guilty as the rest of them if she's going to sit there and tell you that after reading a blanketed document full of black text, or redacted text, I should say, that she's covering for something. She doesn't want to say something that isn't there. Keep in mind, she's a single party member. She's not part of a coalition. She's not part of anything other than a bum in a chair. But she's going to cover for the Liberals who she's always backed. She's going to cover for the NDP because, well, I don't know. I can't say why, other than my presumptions that it's because, well, they give her what she wants. The greasy wheel. This is alarming. It's curious to see, again, what's going to happen over the summer. I know that this isn't going to let down anytime soon, but again, we as voters need to ask the questions, especially when our Conservative members come door knocking next year, not to mention the other ones. But when the Conservatives, especially if you're giving them your vote, come door knocking, or if you're attending their rallies, you have to start asking, why is nothing happening with this? Why is the list not coming out? We're taxpayers. We didn't vote these people in to have power. We voted them in for representation, and we're not getting that. And I don't care if it's Pierre Poilievre, I don't care if it's Justin Trudeau, if it's Jagmeet Singh, if it's Elizabeth May, if it's Elon Musk coming to my door asking for my vote. You have to earn it, and you have to do your job. And if you're not going to do your job, GTFO. If you know what I'm saying. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think down below. Do you think Elizabeth May's covering up for them? Do you think she feels beyond the shadow of a doubt that there is no corrupted MPs in the House of Commons? Do you think, again, senators would be mentioning these things or bringing forward reports if they had zero proof of any kind of election meddling or interference? I don't think so. Again, give me your points down below. If it's your first time here, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you did and turn on your bell for notifications. Join us live here on the channel each and every Friday night for Friday Night Fringe, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central here on the channel. I always look forward to chatting with you guys each and every live stream, and I look forward to going over everything that happened this week in politics. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.